So it's technically just past midnight. So it's technically September 19th, 2023. 1.5 months after my previous one. Things are really getting slower, I guess. But anyways, I think I had something to say a bit before that, but I kind of just like pushed this like until later and later, and now we get this. I'm kind of sleepy right now, but don't want to like delay this anymore. Just want to get this out. So first things first, I think it's like maybe 2-3 weeks after my last entry. I kind of revisited this anime called Girls Last Tour. It's also a manga series that is has already completed, and it's certainly quite something. It kind of like made me feel some very interesting feelings. The usual kind of like melancholic kind of feeling. Sometimes when it's like late at night and then you're kind of like feeling a bit sad but not like so sad. It's like something you feel like I currently have this picture in my mind where it's like I'm riding the bus and then just seeing something just suddenly made like tune me in to a certain kind of mood, and it's kind of like a slow, a melancholic, a bit of sadness, but mostly also kind of like a bit of confusion, maybe even a bit of like yearning kind of feeling. It's a very mixed feeling, but it's all the kind of like the slower feeling, nothing like nothing very strong, I guess. And I say yearning is very weird because like what the maybe I should introduce the show or the series a bit. It's a series that is basically about two girls just traveling around, and it's one of those shows that is like kind of like slice of life, but its setting is in kind of like a post-apocalyptic world, and it's very possible that the two main characters, are kind of like the last humans on Earth, basically, and the whole story is kind of like them going around the ruins of civilization, having philosophical discussions here and there, and kind of moving from one goal to another, basically. But how it ended, spoiler alert, is that basically I think it's hinted that they die. They went to the top of the ruins and realized that there's basically nothing there. The world's so big, so vast that basically they're kind of like tired at that point, and they kind of, I guess, yeah, and their rations have basically ran out. They don't have anything to warm themselves anymore, and it was snowing at the top there, and yeah, it basically ended like that. Nothing is like explicitly said that they died, but I feel like it's implied. And I don't know, it just kind of made me feel empty, but at the same time very mixed. Not in a bad way, where it's like made me hate the series or anything, but made me feel basically a lot of soft emotions, like all mixed together. That's what I mean by mixed. Maybe I kind of wanted a bit more of a closure, just something to end things on, but also in a way, I think I don't want that kind of closure. Like, it's such a weird feeling where usually for stories you want some kind of like closed off ending, like nothing exactly, like even for a lot of quote unquote like open ended kind of like endings, you still get some kind of closure. But for this one, it just feels like there's a lot left untouched. Because I think in a huge way, I was very interested in the world setting, but seeing the story kind of just ended there left, I wanted to see the characters experience more and grow more as characters. And I want the characters themselves to experience the world more so that I, as a reader, could also experience the world more. But that was just not going to happen because in a way, it's a very realistic story in that the characters have their limitations physically, and the world is very vast. There's no way for two people to just experience everything there is to offer. And at the same time, it is fiction. There is a limit to how much of a world the author themselves could build, really, realistically speaking. Yet, I want them so badly, I guess, that it kind of almost irritated me a bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just asking for too much. Maybe I'm kind of also maybe projecting my own situation here where I want, oh man, I've, this whole journal entry thing has been just me trying to find something that I can pursue, or just kind of like an outlet for me to just express these thoughts and emotions. And I feel like I've expressed this pretty clearly, that I'm just constantly in search of something that can keep my mind off all these, what I consider as extra things, or things that are not exactly bringing me any kind of happiness. I think a lot, and not all those thoughts are exactly healthy or even helpful. And I really don't like that. And I feel like one of the, I think, better ways that help my mind to not wander off to all these random ass places that is bringing me a lot of issues is to have something to focus on. And in a way, I feel like that is me trying to find some kind of closure for myself. But, well, this is real life. For stories, the author can just write wherever the hell they want. They can close the story however they want. And they're almost guaranteed, and a closure, you could almost say that it's guaranteed that there is going to be some kind of closure. But for real life, for one's own actual life, it's really just a shot in the dark most of the time. Every step a person takes is basically going to be blind. There's so many uncertainties, and you can't do any kind of theory crafting or planning so good that you can just follow just step by step. And because we're talking about dealing with human beings and an actual human life here, you can't really expect the person to even follow. Even if you do have a plan, you can't really expect the person to follow them through beat by beat either. There is going to be variations, and there are going to be adjustments that one has to make along the way. And I'm talking about myself, obviously. I'm just saying everything in kind of a third person, just so I can feel a bit more detached. But yeah, I want some kind of closure for myself, but at the same time, I'm feeling kind of hopeless about this whole situation, because I also know that feeling this quote-unquote closure is kind of impossible, and I can't imagine myself getting that closure. Maybe I'm just too pessimistic, but that is truly just how I feel. I want something that I am being pessimistic about. And that is just, I don't know, I think that is one of the more frustrating mindsets that you can really have. And having that on a daily basis, having those thoughts as kind of recurring thoughts, reminding yourself every day in so many ways that, it's almost like always reminding yourself that you're a failure for not being able to look for or go for this thing that you yourself want to have. It's a very negative thing. It's not. It's a circle of just depressing thoughts, basically. And considering how, I don't really have anyone to like talk to about all these things, like, hence the fact I'm writing or making this whole video journal. There's nothing to really turn my mind around from or away from all these things. And this is not really helped by the fact that, like, I kind of purposefully like distance people away. I try to keep like a distance between me and other people, so like a lot of these things I wouldn't really say to them anyways. So this is just like a whole nother layer of issue I'm literally putting on myself. I want these things and I need these things, yet at the same time I am trying my hardest not to get these things that I want and these things that I need. What a fucking messed up situation this is. Like, I don't know. It's just very frustrating, and a lot of frustration is not towards the external factors that are at play. Those, sure, from time to time, but most of the time I am just frustrated with myself. And myself is the exact same thing that I'm having the most difficulties to kind of deal with. Oh my god. Oh, the more I say these things, the more frustrated I get, and the more hopeless I feel. Ugh. Oh man, I don't know. I need some time to. I need to take a breath. I'm actually getting a bit off track here because I kind of the night that I finished the night that I finished Girls Last Tour, I actually took notes, and that's what I have on hand right now on like the different talk points I want to talk about, but I've completely deviated right now. But whatever. Let's see. What else do I have about my notes? Oh yeah, one of the notes I took was about me. I think I still very much have like a mind of a child. Like, illusions of grandeur is also kind of like what I have. I mentioned this before about how I see myself as someone that could achieve great things, but the reality is very likely that no, that's not the case. And it's not like I'm even doing anything to help myself to pursue something like that. I think it's just like one of those midnight thoughts that came back to me because I'm pretty sure I said something like this in a previous entry as well. Again, I'm just with doing so many journal entries and every journal entry talking about myself so much, I'm bound to repeat myself. What else is there? It's mostly just like actually just the emotions that I kind of felt at the moment while I was taking these notes. But I feel like I've deviated like so much from my original point that it just feels kind of awkward to go back to what I think about the show, or at least talk about the emotions the show or the series made me feel. Just going to kind of skim through them, I guess. I felt a bit of fear. I guess that comes with the fear of death and the fear of, again, like not being able to find closure for myself. Confusion, of course. Nostalgic feeling. This was a very interesting one. Yeah, I actually kind of felt a bit nostalgic in a way. I don't know why that is, but it's like the feeling of kind of like getting lost in that kind of like way, like it's not exactly a particular memory that I can exactly recall, but it's really just a feeling that I have. I felt very nostalgic for some reason when I was feeling that kind of melancholic feeling of lost, of feeling lost. Uh, yeah, maybe it's cause like I don't feel like I'm the kind of person to get moved by manga a lot. I think it's because like most of the time I read mangas that are more like action based. And then, the more you read these things, the more you kind of just like get used to them. So you're like not really hardened, but you kind of like see things coming kind of ahead of time. And you're a lot more well prepared mentally for things that happen. But for this one, I think it really kind of just, again, it felt realistic in a way, and that kind of just hit me different. It's not realistic in that, tackling things of life that is depicting some kind of like real life event or whatever, or some kind of like, a very realistic aspect of life. But it portrayed a really realistic feeling that one gets when going through life, which is, I think, very interesting. It is not the events that are realistic, it is the feeling that you get when reading it that is realistic, which is kind of weird thing to say, but I hope I kind of like explained it well enough, I guess. I feel like let's see. I felt like I lost something and was trying to grasp it, but it felt so flimsy and it's almost irritating. Yeah, I think at the time I was also kind of like, I think I was almost hitting an epiphany of some kind, or it's like almost kind of remembering something or realizing something, but at the same time, I was like, it was literally like it felt like my arm is like cloth, like soft silk, and it's like slowly waving towards a puff of smoke. And I'm trying to grasp that smoke with this silk arm or arm silk thingy. I don't know. I can't really explain like what the thing I'm trying to grasp was. I think it was something that, like, you know how sometimes you kind of like think about your own feelings and you kind of like realize like what you're feeling, or realize something about yourself or about the world that you're like, yeah, this is how I, and you kind of go like, yeah, this is going to become part of my worldview now. I think it's something like that, but it kind of just got lost on me. And this is at the point where, uh, I finished it at night. I finished the series at night. I was jotting these notes down, kind of like, on my bed, dark at night as well. So it was kind of getting late, and I kind of just said it better stop now and go to sleep, which probably a good idea. Anyways, that's basically what it was for the show, and my thoughts, and a bit of a tangent, I guess. What else did I do in the past month and a half? Oh yeah, I went fishing literally yesterday or day before on Sunday. That was fun. I was fishing at some nearby lakes and rivers that were said to be fish around, and there are other people fishing at those places, but I never caught one. And I tried for like 2 years, never succeeded. But I was able to actually catch one during this fishing trip. It was with some colleagues. And yeah, we went on to sea. We got a boat and fished. Is like, I guess that was just that. Something about this colleague that I've been hanging out a lot with recently. I'm not sure if I've said anything about them before, but like I'm right now, I'm kind of like taking this experience of hanging out with the colleague as me trying to learn how to live a quote unquote normal life, or at least a life that is not that is less introverted or like less isolated. I think that's the best way to put it. Because like I've mentioned before, how I'm trying to consciously like distance people, but I feel like I need to learn how to live not exactly a more I don't think it's exactly anything like more healthy, because I don't really like interacting with people that much, but having a better understanding of how people think, how people interact is always a good thing. Like how I feel like an alien, like learning how humans operate, the daily learning how like the daily life of human beings work. But that's kind of like how I'm doing. And I'm realizing I'm kind of like I have a lot of like these like emotionally, I think I am still very much lacking, like in terms of like having friends, or having a lot of friends, or even having a few friends, how to manage these relationships, how to manage like work relationships, maybe even how to manage like things that are more like closer, like romantic relationships. Cuz like right now this colleague is like in like the past few years, I guess. Maybe oh shoot, how many years has it been? Maybe 7 years? Maybe even 10 years? Holy shit. Maybe in the past 10 years, it's like the one of few people that I feel like I am interacting a lot with and kind of getting close to. But like a big thing that I kind of like don't understand about myself and about other people is like the difference between like just a relationship of a friend versus a romantic relationship. Like I don't know what the line is between something just people hanging out as friends and people hanging out as like romantic partners. Like I don't really understand where the romance thing comes in. I had a relationship before that I never really liked to talk about, but I feel like I've kind of gotten over it now. Uh, but it was like something that like I didn't understand how relationships work at back then either. Well, obviously, but like, but it was like how should I say this? It was like like we were hanging out, and then it turned romantic, kind of like almost on a whim, or quote unquote romantic. But it was like kind of on a whim, where it's like people we kind of our interactions were, I guess, quote unquote flirty. So we were like, you know what, let's try this thing out, like this whole going out thing. We tried it out, didn't really work that out, and then we broke up, and then that just left me kind of like all confused, because like it wasn't really a bad breakup. It was just like nothing was happening. And then I was just like, well, now I'm even more confused, because I feel like even after kind of like we started to quote unquote officially go out, we didn't really like do anything different from what we were doing before. We were just still doing our like the same things that we were doing as while we were friends. So it's like, and then when I look at kind of like other people's examples of them going out with other people, again, it feels like it's just doing friend stuff. No? Yes? I don't know. I feel like it's like when you get a really good friend that you hang out with, it's almost at the same it's almost the same as having like a romantic partner, or at least like that's what you guys do. It's just minus the sexual interest. But I feel like it's not just the sexual thing that makes the a relationship like romantic, no? So it's like, where the hell does the line is the line drawn? I don't know. Like some people talk about jealousy, like, oh, if your friend were maybe if your partner were like taken away from you, you'll feel jealous. But I feel like you even feel that with your friends, though. No, like especially your close ones, like you want to hang out with them all the time, and then they're suddenly, they can't really hang out with you because now they're like hanging out with someone else, and you are going to feel a bit of jealousy. I was like, hey, what the hell? I thought we were like hanging out together. So I don't know. Like for me, good friends, really good friends, and romantic partners feel like very similar to each other, and I can't like draw the line, and that's why I'm kind of like refraining from doing it, like even really thinking about like pursuing any kind of like romantic relationship, because I feel like the things I would do during that relationship wouldn't really qualify as like, or I like, at least I should say that like I'm just not confident in myself being a good like romantic partner, because I don't know what the hell it even means. I just know how to like just hang out, but like I don't know. Like they say to take a step further. What the hell is that step? It feels like it's just like freaking shuffling around on the floor, but it's like what the hell do you mean a step? It doesn't feel that really different, you know? But yeah, that's kind of like what has been going on in my mind recently, thinking about uh you know just my future and stuff, also thinking about how like relationships work. Still don't understand it, and probably not gonna bother with it too much. But again, like as I said, I've been hanging out with this colleague a lot, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell this whole thing is all about. I'm just gonna hang out and I don't know, do what I know are like friend behaviors or friendly behaviors, right? Like I don't know. I don't know. I just want to hang out and not think about all these different things. But like I feel like as adults, you kind of have to think about these things because like, different people have different lines that they like want to or not want to cross with each other. But yeah, it's a confusing life. That's quite a lot I've said. It's like what 28 minutes now. Holy shit. That's it. We'll see if it's gonna be another month for next one. All right.